the mic.
You want the mic?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if it's working, but I have a question about self-inquiry.
Yes.
I recently started with self-inquiry, and then what comes up is there's nobody, everything is happening, and but then at the end is from I'm space, and every time I do the self-inquiry, it's kind of the same,
Yeah.
and I'm space, and I have the feeling that's nothing new for me.
You have to think it's not new. Ah, yeah, because you go, is it? You always go back there, no? Wait, just a sec. Is it okay? No. No.
Hoor je maar niks? En nu?
Dat is een rood lichtje branden.
Ha 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 ha. No. Okay, then I have to speak louder.
No, wait.
No? Or something is wrong here?
Take from the...
Maybe.
No. Okay, just to go the other way. Help, please.
Ah, yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, sure. So, can I... Do you hear?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you mean you always go back there where you know? You mean that? Yes. But who told you that you have to stop at the answer, I am space? Because even if it comes, you don't need to stop there.
And that's what I mean. But then I stop there and I don't know how to go on.
No. If you pronounce, if you can know, it's my experience is that I am space.
Yeah.
It's already a very landing place, a known place. So don't stop there.
Okay.
So who knows the space?
Who knows the space? Great. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
to
I
show
understand.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, exactly. Yeah, that's very helpful.
Very nice.
Yeah, who knows the space? Great.
You see, the question is to leave you where you always are. So, in fact, it's, since you don't believe it, that's why you ask the question, but it is to bring you where you never left. Mm. So, any answer would not do because they are answers in the level of the question in the mind.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah? To be all right?
I think so.
So the question is beyond words.
The answer
The
of
answer
the
is
question
beyond.
is beyond words, is beyond any conceptualization. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's like rooting out something which never was rooted, but we believe in it so much. So it's to root out that question. And know that where you are left with no mental answers is where nothing can touch it. So when the mind reappears, it's not that suddenly again you are in the mind. No, from where you are, from where you always have been, the mind reappears, the mind will show up and it will disappear. Mm-hmm. You see? So you don't need to make self-inquiry again, because it's a fact that where you are left is where you always have been. And that all those movements, going out, going back, is a fantasy of the mind. Mm. You don't want to ask anything?
Nothing on my mind.
Okay. But are you still in your mind?
I think I was drifting off a little bit. And then you asked me a question, I was back.
But you see, you are back, you say, but you are back where?
In the here and now, I guess.
Ah. Now. You know, it's, I don't know what it means. Yeah, now. Tell me, what does it mean?
I think it's a place beyond the mind, where there are no thoughts, just senses, sensing what's happening.
That's here and now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sensual.
Yeah, I think so. It's the experience of the phenomenal world.
So it's a kind of here and now of the time.
I'm not sure what the time is doing there, but
Otherwise, how can you mention even what you mention? You see, it is an experience which is like a full stop, or which is like you are at the source of the rising mind, but still there is somebody there. There is somebody. I went back to a refuge, I would say. That is a quite deep and safe refuge regarding this world of events. There you feel protected, you feel safe, you feel at home. Is it? Yeah. But it's a refuge that it's like a cave that a yogi, he goes out but he's safe because he knows he can go back in his cave and there nobody will trouble him except a tiger may be coming in. And the tiger will ask, are you somebody that you need a cave? Uh-huh. It's nice to have a refuge in the life, sure. Not to be eaten away every time you go out. But it's not who you really are. Is somebody too much again? Yeah. Somebody too much. So, because of that refuge, you are at least, you feel at least that you cannot go much farther as I. Can you?
Yeah.
You can go? Or you cannot go?
I think the refuge gives the illusion that you cannot go beyond.
Yeah, you cannot go. Yeah, that is the dead end of I. Now, are you I?
No.
And how do you know that?
Because I don't know where that I would be, or who that would be. I cannot. It's something beyond words. I cannot describe it. I cannot see it. I cannot.
Okay. Okay. And what is this?
I don't know.
The mind doesn't know. That's true. That's what I say. I doesn't know, he cannot go farther. But why do you stay in I? Why don't you just see, is the I there if I don't go to a refuge, or if I don't hook at the I don't know? Is there any I? Is there anybody?
No.
And is it this is here and now? Does it make sense? Doesn't make sense? You just repeat what people say. Doesn't make sense? What does it mean to say it's here and now?
For me, it's a place beyond the words and beyond the mind.
So it's not here and now. It's also a place. Don't swallow anybody's words. Power of here and now is not power at all.
There's a couple of topics I would like to ask.
Please.
There's a couple of topics I would
Yeah,
like to ask.
sure,
you
sure.
about. So the first one would be, how would you put or explain the difference between non-duality and oneness?
How do I explain duality, non-duality and oneness?
The difference between the two.
Oneness is an experience of the bed of the river, I would say. The river is like the life, it's a flow, yeah? But it exists because there is a bed. And the bed exists because there is a river. So they are linked. It's, let's say, the absolute side of the relative side of the same experiencer. So oneness is an experience, and non-duality is not an experience. The second topic is
About fear. So, in this process of inner practice and going within, and the realizations that come when you go within, there's a part of me that goes into fear of
fear. Into what?
fear,
Fear, yeah.
into fear of how to handle, let's say, in the daily life, these realizations. The fear of maybe not being able to readjust to society as we have it. So
Society has to adjust you, has to follow you.
Sorry?
The society has to follow you.
Yeah.
No, you see, this fear comes before you realize. Once you realize, there is no question of fear, because there is not a fear of the other. And all that is perfectly orchestrated already, you see. Before the fear we have, before we question it, and after. All what appears is the expression of what you are. It's perfect. And yeah, it's beforehand that you may have those questions, when the mind still tries to figure it out. But don't forget, you will be freed from the tyranny of your mind. And those questions have no meaning then. So you need quite a consistency in wanting to know really who you are, to cross those difficulties that the person will show up. They are just thoughts, you see. And the concept one makes out of what is liberation, and then a fear comes. Yeah, daily life. It is not, it's beyond or it's prior. So who will take care of this daily life? But the person who appears in the daily life, of course, the same person. That will not change. But as I repeat, it is really not describable more than, some can describe better than me, but more than this. It's really not. You can't figure it out simply. But you see, you can look at the lives of, let's say, the classic masters, those who are accepted totally. They lead a life. They have a life, perfectly lived. Don't worry. Read more about those people and you will see there is nothing to fear.
My last question would be about the practice of searching what makes you happy.
Searching to be happy.
What makes you happy? So there's some practices that say do whatever makes you feel happy. So focus on the feelings that you have, and if something makes you happy, do it. And if it doesn't make you happy, then don't do it. So I want to know your opinion if this is maybe something that can be too hedonistic, or if you think it's indeed a good approach.
But you see, for the life, maybe it's nice. Because why not to be more happy if there is some trick about it, isn't it? But I don't take so much care of the life. I am questioning even a scandalous question. Is there anybody so real as the one who thinks is real? Is there anybody? In reality, in appearance, yes, no doubt about it. I am this body, I am this mind. Or even those can say, I have a body, I have this mind. But from where this I goes, and from where it comes when it goes to birth, or where it goes when I die, I as a body dies, what is it? Who am I? What is this I? Then there you don't bring the question of happiness or love, or you just are focused to realize what is meant by you always ever you have been that. What does it mean? It's not said it's this or that. No, it's that which is common to all. So that will solve the search, if it is so, of I want to be freed from lies or illusions, but it will not solve the actions and reactions in the personal life. So it's of no use in a way. Except that you don't have the deep anxiety to this kind of search and questions. To be freed from this anxiety of the death that you bring when you are born is a very substantial relief.
Sometimes I feel like it's more fear of life than of death. In a way. Right? So it's more about this specific ride and not like the...
It's because it's short-sighted. The fear of death manifests in small things before, because you cannot take it, death. It's the same fear.
like a fear of yourself, in a way.
Fear to be unhappy again. Fear to suffer. Fear to feel this hole, this lack, this missing something of something.
I would say it's even a step further because of the fear that the knowing that you are creating that for yourself. So it's the fear of yourself,
Yeah.
making or creating.
Of what you
things.
think of yourself.
Yeah. From a broader point, we can say we are creators. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah.
And in that case, you can say we are creators of our all experiences. So all our fears and suffering
Yeah.
is created by ourselves. So
Yeah.
it becomes the fear of yourself.
Yeah, you can
What
say
you
that.
think
But
you
of the one, what you call yourself is the one you think you are. The one you feel you are. The one you experience you are. Yeah. Right. But who are you? Because this thinking, those feelings, those senses, they go on changing, and still you don't confuse yourself or your neighbor. That which doesn't make you confused, does it have an age? Does it have a person? This I. No, we always speak of the time in the body and the ripeness or whatever of the feelings and the mind. That goes on changing. And yet, we are always the same. What is this? If you make self-inquiry, you see more and more that what one speaks about is always about what you can describe, which is the mechanism of body-mind. But what you can describe is not you. You are not subject to time. Only body-mind is subject to time.
There was just talk just before about being in the moment.
Being in the moment, yeah.
For me, that's also a practice.
Huh?
For me, that is also one of the practices, but it's sensual.
Essential practice?
It's sensual. So
Sensual.
the senses.
Yeah. Sensual, it's in time. The senses are in time.
But it feels like sometimes, especially when you're in the flow, maybe with some exercise or sport, also there is no self. There is no ego. It's just the experience.
Because you don't think. The artists also sometimes, they say, oh, beautiful. I was not there when I did it. The sportsmen also, when they have moments like that. Because they don't think. Actually, you see, everybody knows those moments. But the interpretation is wrong. And as every word which is uttered as a kind of magic, one believes what is expressed as truth, as reality, forgetting that the reality is from where it has been expressed. which contains those moments and the opposites. So if you speak of the moment and all that, and you bring a something in it, it is still the time. And what is time? It wakes up with states. Even in the sleep states, yeah. It starts not to be there, and then after you wake up, it appears again. But where all this is played upon? Sometimes for the sake of speaking, we speak of, it can be uttered sometimes about now or here, but it's really not as a teaching, as a formula, who you are is here and now. No, it's just an indication which fits sometimes to be said, but it's not a teaching. Huh? There are philosophers who are, as you'd say, they live more in the now, and then they have a better enjoyment, you see, because they are less taken by the past and the future, but still they depend on the time. And this now will always present itself in a different manners, or in the senses, or in the feelings, or in the mind. But then, who is this one? If you don't consider what is presented, what appears, who is this one? Because you see, if that is realized, then you are freed to have practices or formulas which help you in the life. It's very valuable. Yes, I think.
Oh.
For sale.
Yeah. For sale. Yes.
I heard you say you can ask questions.
Of course.
Yes, and on the other hand, as long as you have questions, you are in the mind.
Yes.
So
Why do I
what to do?
ask questions?
Why ask?
Yes. Because you see, according to circumstances, and this could be one, the mind can be quiet, you see, but it's momentarily, because the mind has not been seen for what it is. Means unreal, unsubstantial by nature. So I am paradoxal, I agree, but yet I have seen that if you ask a question which is quite important or dear to you, or you expose something, what do you lose? You may get an answer, and you may ask the same question, you will get another answer. Or you can see that it's a real fantasy of the mind, even if it looks very important. And like this, in satsang, it's more to show that the mind is helpless in this affair.
The mind is
No, is helpless. Helpless. It cannot help you. And even if you know it, it doesn't mean that unconsciously it is like that. And you will always be taken, maybe not exactly now, but you will always be taken by something which is yet not clear. You see, and I want to stir up that.
you want to.
Stir up, to wake up that if it is there, even dormant. Yeah. Because it plays tricks. Whatever remains plays tricks. Plays tricks.
Oh, a trick, yeah.
Sooner or later, you will be troubled by that.
Yeah, what you say, the tyranny of the mind.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
the tyranny
because
of the
of
mind.
action and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, the tyranny of the mind, it is his way to be. But is there any tyrant as real? If you solve that, you see, then mind, no mind, you will not be troubled anymore, in reality. So, what is the mind? And surely, what is the owner of the mind? Huh? Because there is no the mind floating like this. There is an owner of the mind. So what is this owner of the mind? And all the answer you will see, it will be answer or physical, or emotional, or conceptual. So one describes from birth to death always the same mechanism, which goes on changing. Are we a vicious circle?
Yeah.
Yeah. To the mind who inquires a bit, you say, yeah, but exactly that's why the voice of the wise here can be heard. Say, maybe you think you are a vicious circle because you start to see many dead ends, many impossibilities and limits. But that was the mistake, to take yourself for a vicious circle. Mm? Yeah. And you see, we take ourselves for a vicious circle because we have this habit as a person, and it's natural for a person, to have references. We believe in the experience, we are sincere with the experience we live now, here or there. We are sincere. But that very sincerity is a big lie. So that can be questioned.
So I could say, don't believe the mind.
Yes, yes. Let it come and go, it's not your affair. But don't trust the mind, I would say. Don't trust the mind. Yeah. About reality of things. About the reality of things, for the rest of it.
Is it more about physical changes? I'm doing a lot with the energy work, and I find out lately that the body is reacting to it. Food sensitivity, if you name it. Also, sleeping, that you don't know if you're actually asleep or not. Like there's one line where, even though it seems like the body, everything is remaining, doing its thing, but normally nicely falling asleep, going into a dream, and then back into normal life. Now it's like you're constantly waking up or in this in-between zone where you're not really sure. It seems like the body is asleep. Sometimes you recognize, oh, there has been a dream, so it must have been asleep. But this light line, can you tell from your experience if there's something you're going through and afterwards it's like back to normal, or is it just a phase, or I have no idea?
You know, I'm very, no. Because I don't have anymore this curiosity or anxiety to study and to see what is what, and so I've maybe by my personality, I have a simple way to live. I mean, I just wake up and then dream, sleep and then dream. I didn't have also practices to be awake when you are asleep and all those things. So I am just very ordinary. I didn't have a striking experience as yours, and you know, I just had a surge, but that's all. Yeah.
When you say dream, it happens with me as well. But the question is like thinking or a thought that happens or a dream that happens seems to be similar. And if you ask the question, to whom does it arise? It short circuits the whole thing.
It's
short circuits, you know.
Yeah.
Just, but if you do it, then the problem is that the body doesn't go to sleep. So at a certain point, you have to stop the self-inquiry. You have to stop this automatic process. It seems, otherwise.
But it's an obsession, huh? Like when you are obsessed, you cannot sleep.
It becomes an automatic pattern where it's like,
And you have that?
Yeah.
You're obsessed.
Oh, I guess a bit OCD.
Okay, but then you see, it's also because you don't give the occasion to give a slightest moment to the disappearance of the inquiry. The goal of the inquiry is not to repeat it all the time. The goal is you may ask once, which may be enough. Because if you give, let's say, you hear that now, huh? You give the full value to the disappearance, not the experience of the disappearance, but where the disappearance of the question leads you, maybe something happens there. Shows up that, that's what I am. And then you will not inquire more.
Is there a difference between inquire and what is sometimes referred to as Rigpa? He just experienced everything that is.
Who?
The Rigpa? The Rigpa?
Rigpa.
It's more a Buddhistic term, meaning anything that happens in doingness in the mind, he just experience.
Yeah.
Because normally, if there's doingness happening, you're running afterwards, like a reaction in the mind. But if you don't react, that means you experience it fully.
You know, there are some who are yogis. They have some powers. They have some particularities. But then they are not ordinary people. I don't belong to that, so I don't know. But it's very possible. That's what I said in the beginning this morning. Some will look unknown, some will look ordinary, some will look extraordinary. But you can be extraordinary beforehand also, you know. You can have been born with such a personality and talents and whatnot. Doesn't mean you are free, necessarily. One will surely be the same, free, and having that also. So, with who? But surely that all those manifestations are not needed. They are not important, in fact. That is clear. Yeah. Big relief.
I have a question as well.
Please.
I follow Advaita Vedanta for many years already. Sometimes more intense, sometimes not so
Sure.
intense. Also, I follow the Course in Miracles.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, do you think it's about the same thing, or because sometimes I'm confused?
Yeah, I understand. But I have to admit that I am a bit informed about it, and I even read quite a lot of one book. So I don't know it fully. I never really followed it. So I am not, how to say, I'm not, how you would say,
Expert.
able to really tell something. But what I saw, it looks pretty the same.
Yes, for me it looks too.
And that's why those people like also to come to satsang. Yet there is one thing I saw, but I insist, I'm not a specialist, but I saw something which to me it looks not the same. Is, I hope I remember, but you will tell me, is to the forgiveness.
Yes.
Forgiveness. Yeah. Forgiveness. It's like you have to have this quality, you have to have this attitude to be able probably to go to your real self. No? It is. So there is a condition which is very humanistic. I totally agree. But then you see what it implies. It implies that, so it means one believes he's real, one believes he has a kind of mission, that his charisma has to be extended to all. And then he will have a pure heart, and then he will ask, who am I? But you see, to ask who am I is even given to the rascals. You know what is
The
a
rascals?
rascal? Bad boys and bad girls. Because you see, you already are that, regardless of your good attitude or not. You are it.
Also, they talk about the mind in a different way. I understand.
This I don't know.
They what I understand in Course in Miracles, they say you have to choose with the mind. So you use the mind to choose for the Holy Ghost. So it's different
Yeah.
language. Eh?
There is something
Yeah,
different.
maybe it's confusing to combine. I don't know.
I would not combine because yourself you are confused.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
I think you have to go for what fits better, regardless of your friend find this the best or this or that. Look for yourself. What do I want, or do I want to believe, or do I want to realize before I die? What is the figure that you love most? To be a saint, to be a free but a bit not perfect. You know, it's like that. To imperfection belongs to perfection, that is really personal. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. I find that to think I am born is a ghost. It's a ghost, it troubles your life. To think I am a creature is a ghost. Yes.
It's funny because before she went to ask, I was thinking in Course in Miracles, because it's a book that came in my path like 1 month ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And I realized how we all interpreted things differently. Because for
Of
me,
course.
yeah,
True.
for me it's like how you can, I don't know, I live very far away from where I'm coming from, and the thing is, what I take from the book is like, wherever you go, actually what you are searching is already inside, and
Yeah, they are
Yeah.
sayings which are the same.
mhm,
I agree, even in religion,
mhm,
sayings are the same. But you see, I take no religion, I don't speak of what you follow. Religion, for example, they say God is undescribable, God is in you. Okay? Okay. But they add things how to reach there. And their Advaita is not the same. Because in fact, for what myself I try to tell you, you are already that. And it's a mistake to take yourself for somebody else. So, if you are sure that this is the poison, this is the wrong view, why should you work on a wrong view? I mean, the wrong view will not be straight by doing things. The wrong view has to disappear. So that the self reveals itself, or that reveals itself. So in that way, it's direct. It's very different in that way. But I don't want to discuss, you see, everybody does what fits him. Okay?
yes.
It was like, there is a Zen story, I'm not a good storyteller, but just a thing I can tell. There was a master, I think it was even Wineng, and he had a few disciples around, because at that time people were living in monasteries, and the master asked, give me the best way to be yourself. And one supposed to be the spiritual son said, he was showing, you just polish the tile so that it becomes a mirror. And the master said, but first of all, break the mirror. There is no mirror. There is no mirror. There is no tiles in reality. Why should you polish something which is not true in reality? You see, all those purifications and all that of someone means that you believe that the creature is real. And then there is some kind of, then one day will be in union with something more real, because more vast. I cannot go there myself. In fact, I see that it was a mistake to think I am a mirror of God or of that. It's a mistake to think I am somebody, first of all. It's what I think of myself, but this is in the mind. So don't follow any movement of the mind, even for a second, for a real second. And then you will see, mind goes on changing. It's unreliable. Creatures, God, that, all that is in the mind. I am what I am, and where I cannot go. So I never know what it is, but at least I am at peace. What to say? Hmm?
Okay. But are those not tools like?
Please.
Are not like kind of tools you need to really become yourself, or
Yeah, it's good. Kind of tools to be yourself.
Yeah.
But you see, self-inquiry is given. First of all, we say, you are that. Somebody can wake up to that directly. It happens. Okay. If not, the best, let's say second best, my master was telling, second best is inquire. Instead of trying to make you better and so on, inquire. But who thinks he is a human being, for example? Or who is thinking he is born? The answer is I. There is no way out. If I is not there, you cannot say anything. So, second step is, but who am I? And the answer is so direct, because you are it, is where the question of the mind, so the mind, it's where the mind disappears. But I'm so happy that we don't need to fight or to prove that any opinion is better than another. It looks like paradoxally, if we didn't be troubled by the mind, we would never know about ourselves.
But then, what is the relationship we have with it? Because
No relation.
so, I mean, we're talking about a lot about removing ourselves from it, or
Sorry.
removing ourselves from it, or controlling it, or letting go of it.
What, the mind?
Yeah.
If you do something with the mind, you feed the fact that I is real.
But don't we use it every day, or like fantasizing about something and building something, creating things? That's something we use it for, right? So.
I'm sorry, I
Sorry?
I don't understand you so well.
You understand
Yeah.
me now?
Yeah.
Okay. We use our minds to.
To do
create
things in the. Yeah, sure, of course. The mind is for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the only thing is then to distance ourselves from it.
But then you will be troubled by the one who created the distance. Then you are a witness of something. And then what you do with the witness? It's like you put another dress. You see, I was before identified, the one I know, and then now through some practice, or it happened that, I am a witness of those things. But actually it is the same I, it just changed qualities. And then what to do with the witness now? This is the problem of those who do a lot of vipassana meditation, but it's also achieved by so many other things, is that they arrive in a place where I is quite omnipotent because he's less taken by things. But then you are at the same spot regarding, but who am I?
So what to do then?
You question it. If you can tell something about you, it means it's a description, an experience. You are not it.
So one step beyond that then?
Or prior. You see, Nisargadatta left behind us an amazing title of a book. You don't even need to read the book. The title is enough. It is called Prior to Consciousness. So, the seeker, let's say, tries everything. Finally he arrived to consciousness. Wow, that is the final thing. And then you are there and you see prior to consciousness. Oh no, it's impossible. Yes? For the mind it's impossible. It cannot go further than I am consciousness. Because it's the vaster, it's the max he can conceive. But if he stays there, sometimes I am consciousness, sometimes not yet fully. Because it's a state of the mind. So it starts with F. It's the same as for the witness, you see. If you work with I, okay, you may have achieved a few great states or whatever, but then you have not solved your problem. Unless you want to be an achiever, but that's different. Yes.
Hello. Some say that if people would be awake, enlightened, beyond ego, together as a whole group, you would get intersubjective non-duality. And the fundamental point with humans is that they don't trust each other. And in this elevated space, we could come together and save
What a
the planet.
wonderful dream.
I think that's the other way out. If you look at where the world is right now,
First enlighten yourself and then you will see if any dream is needed.
Can I ask a small question? You
Please, even big is okay.
You say
Wait.
you say first enlighten yourself, but is this possible to do?
Of course,
To do
because
yourself.
it depends. Some it happens to them directly, and some need to come to satsang. But it doesn't matter in fact, because it's just to hear again and again. You are already what you search, so don't search. Don't search. All this fantasy of search and achievements is in the mind only.
Yeah. And also the doing.
Yes, exactly.
Yourself.
Yeah. So what was the question?
So can I do it myself, or
Why not? If you hear this, when the search rises, for example, or something, you will be aware now, oh, I'm not going there, because it's the mind. Why should I trust the mind? And in the end, the mind surrenders, you see. You are left by yourself. But when I say in the end, it can be abruptly now. If you don't want to keep, any cherished desire unfulfilled that has to be fulfilled, if you don't want to keep any cherished experience or idea, you can free yourself just now. Sorry.
This talk about Course in Miracles reminds me of a question.
Okay.
And it's about the objective of that course
Yeah.
is to see that the self
Yeah.
is in everybody.
Sure.
And by seeing that, you also can know who you are.
I see. So one could start with oneself, and then you will see in everybody.
I don't know if one
Yeah.
way is better than
Yeah,
the other.
no.
No. But it is
Yeah.
if you're realized, is
Yeah.
also what you can see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, of course. That's why I don't believe anybody who says, I am not it, because it's not true. But if you follow your mind, it's true for you. Sure. Let me see. It's a good point, but let me see. You see, to realize yourself, it is not to consider the one you taught before, your you, as real, or at least you question it. Okay? Yeah? Now, if you look at somebody else and try to see, how can you, because you see, there is no more I and you, except in the appearance, nobody is mad, of course. So if you try to see in somebody else this I and, the base is I and you, how can you see that in somebody else? Unless you have a concept, vast maybe, that you project. I find it very complicated. Huh? It's less direct. You have to depend on a few things.
But there is no other.
In reality.
Yeah.
But then you see, then there is no search too, and no course,
Yes.
and no Advaita, and
Yes.
nothing.
Yes.
But if you take those paths, it's because you are not yet there. You want to believe it, okay, but you are not yet there. Otherwise, you would not take anything. Yeah.
My question is about effort.
Yeah.
Because you say, or I know I heard that for some people a transition can happen in just an instant, like in one moment.
Yeah.
But there are so many stories of, there are so many monks in monasteries practicing every day, all night, or like a story about Buddha taking off and sitting on a tree for a week. Those stories sound like a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So, is it something? Is that true? Do you think it should take or it could take a lot of effort?
I mean, you need extremely a lot of efforts to be exhausted and sit quietly under a tree not knowing what to do anymore. Otherwise you will try more, you see. You will try. But you need to have been banged so many times that you say, no way out. I don't know what to do now. No way out with what I know, what I tried. And then maybe something happens. Maybe then you wake up to yourself. Because finally you gave up the efforts. But you need sometimes a very long time of extreme efforts to arrive here. No doubt about it. But some people, you see, when you are born, I don't want to give concepts, but it's like you are born with a luggage. You see, so Ramana, for example, is a great example. Very young, it looks like he didn't make a lot of efforts, but who knows was what he was carrying when he was born. Maybe myriads of efforts. So I mean you don't, we never know what everyone carries with him, you see. But surely you need you need to have searched a lot to give up. Otherwise the pride, the basic pride, will always try.
Can you say more about this basic pride?
It's the sense of I, you see, the sense of existence which wants to exist because he is born, so he is afraid to disappear. He doesn't want to die before death. And so he has the mind, the time to do things and achieve and have ideals and whatnot. That is the history of humankind. The basic pride is I am.
Is there also a basic pride of that you are born anyway?
Yeah, sure. I am born, of course. Because you see, we attribute things to ourselves with which right. I'm born, what does it mean? It means this body and all this. What is common to all, you see, doesn't have particularities. No, in the appearance, it's only particularities. but we speak here of this natural state, which is not a state common to all living beings. That can be realized before death, you see. And the life continues in the appearance. Yes.
Regarding life and death. Regarding life and death.
Yeah.
At death, you'll go back to source, right?
You go back to thought?
Source.
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 Source,
To
the
self.
source, yeah.
To self.
About life and death, what?
Yeah, you were talking about life and death just now.
Yeah.
But at death, you said you can realize self before death.
Yeah.
But at death, you realize it anyway, no? Because there's all this talk about heaven and hell.
I'm not there, I don't know.
But you do know it.
I question what I know, which is my birth. And if you solve the birth, you solve the death. If you see that the birth is an event, death will be also an event. I cannot speak of what I don't know. Birth I know. And I confused, no, it was right, but I confused myself for what is born. And what is born, there is no way out. You speak only of this body, those emotions, and of this mind. That is born, that goes on changing, that gets young and then old and dies. You're not that. In reality, of course, I don't speak of this appearance. I don't speak of this appearance.
But you know what is the self. So you know what is...
I know it is the self, but not with knowledge, not with senses, not with... My mind says I don't know.
Yeah, but your mind...
But I know very well that I am it. I don't know what to say. I cannot go there, you see. And when you are extremely very happy that the eye doesn't go there because you have seen the game, then what can you say? You can only reply eventually to questions, and you can tell what it is not. But that's all. You cannot say what it is. But there is no more need. That you are freed from the need to try to own. So you are freed from the basic pride to be absolutely somebody. It's a big relief.
I guess I'm asking for people who tell me they're afraid of death.
Let them think. Are they born? And then they will say, of course you are mad, but then let them speak. You speak of what? Of this body, of these feelings, of this mind. But you are describing it. Are you what you can describe? Maybe it will give them a hint that they don't need to keep that fear. It's an event. Which comes and goes. Fears and all that, they belong to this mechanism, you see. They are not placed somewhere else. So who am I? When you start to negate whatever you experience or believe, and so it's not it, you are left with the I. Does it mean something, I completely alone? And then you quieten down. You're just in yourself. Mm. Yeah.
We are talking now about awakening to that. And what I experience right now is that I fall asleep. So what is that? I
In this talk?
now. Yes.
It's because you are not interested.
I am not
interested by this topic.
What is that?
It's boring, so you go to sleep.
Okay.
No, it can happen.
Makes me think. Thank you. now.
You have no more question?
Well, I was thinking that when they are talking about this book, called Course of Miracles, that is I am to Buddhist meditation, and I feel a little bit disloyal to Advaita Vedanta.
You are guilty. A few here are a bit guilty, I know. But don't worry, why? You have to report between to who?
Oh yeah, I'm part of a Buddhist meditation group, and they're talking very much from, oh, you shouldn't be with another teacher.
Yes.
And I have told them my
I
secret.
see that you are troubled by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you do then? What do you do?
I don't say anything.
But so you don't believe them when they say
I
so?
don't believe them. And I told my
you took your freedom.
I told my Advaita teacher, I have a teacher here in Holland, a Dutch teacher, and that I was doing meditation, and he doesn't believe really in meditation, but then I said it helped me to become emotionally grown up.
Emotionally?
Grown up.
Grown up, oh,
Yeah.
don't what? You can remain a child if you like, who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, so much work for what?
I feel that it's no problem.
No
It's more
problem.
the other is that I have a secret for this group.
It will be on YouTube and then the secret is revealed. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
There is a little bit of truth in that. I will tell you why. When you search, it's very natural to go here and there, to listen, to learn, and to see whom you can trust and all that. That's sure. But you have also to see that, after all, you pick up something here, something there, you do your own soup. Okay. Who knows you understand well also. Okay. Once you stay with one, it means for a while at least, it fitted you. Yeah? It fits, and so you can trust, because it's also important to trust. Otherwise, why should you follow what is indicated if you don't trust? Okay? So, but everyone, you see, has his own language. Everyone has his own language. And there is... So, once you find that you can trust and it is that you want, is there a meaning to go somewhere else? unless you start to have some doubt yourself, or something in you pushes you to go somewhere else. But then it's important to see what it is, because or it is because you are greedy with experiences, then you may get a new other experience, or it is an intuition in you who say, okay, I can question something I hear that I cannot, is not questioned there, but I see it makes sense to question it. You see, so it is to free you from a certain belief.
Yeah, for me,
You understand?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but make it sure, because it's important, you see. Make it sure. It can take some time, it doesn't matter, but make it sure why, what is it that makes you go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Welcome, not that, but
Yeah,
I
but
try to tell you.
Well, what I know is that till recent, I was not not able to do self-inquiry.
Yeah.
And then I said to my teacher, I'm meditating, and then he said to me, who's meditating?
Yes.
And then I felt, oh, this is my key to
Yeah.
self-inquiry.
Exactly. Good.
Yeah.
And then
And
why you don't stay with that?
Yeah.
You do stay with that,
Yeah.
because you came also here
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, I came
Okay.
with it. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it is not a question of teachers. You have your key.
Yeah, I have my key.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome. Be faithful only to your key. And then, of course, sometimes you feel helped in the environment which direct always to that, of course. I must say that in my time, now I tell a story, the difficulty was to find a teacher. Now, the difficulty of this time is I had to laugh. I have an answer, but I would not say because it's just for a joke. The difficulty is to find a good disciple, but it means, I joke. I tell you, it's a bad joke. The difficulty is that among the vastness of teachers, exactly. Because everybody has the same language, has nearly the same language. No, this who am I is banalized up to the max. You have so much of who am I that you go to sleep because I don't want to hear. There is so much banalization, information, even very good informations about the mind and what is not and all that. That it becomes something. It is no more like the mind gets surprised, you see. So there is a difficulty, sure. What I wanted to say, I don't remember. Yeah, it's not because you hear someone speaking well, and especially about who am I and all that, that he is there. It can be learned very well, this Advaita philosophy. And some people are very smart in articulating and delivering it. But you see, where you can see is, does what is said is only what is said, or there is a few addition here and there to make it work? That's very important.
Could you rephrase that? I didn't really understand.
For example, there was a, it's just, I don't name anybody and I don't want, and it's abstract. But it's real too in this apparent world. Some may speak Advaitic sentences. Great, it's great because it can always have an effect. Yet, beside that, they say, but you should have a certain way of life, you should do some yoga, you should do some whatever. It doesn't work with Advaita. Then it's no more Advaita, which is all right. But what I loved from my guide, it was that it was so simple because of so sober and direct. You see? So it depends on everybody, the choice he makes. But don't be deluded by words. Words are learned also, you see. So you have to smell from where they come. You cannot easily learn that in the beginning, but you see, even if somebody says something less articulated or less, brilliant, but if it comes from the same place, from the place, which is no place, but from there, it will have more effect than a brilliant discourse or teaching. So don't be impressed by too much articulation. Yeah. What I love with Nisargadatta, you see, he was, there is only that, and that was it, and everybody was, oh, well, it was much more effect than now, So, you have to see from where it comes. Because from where it comes has the ability to touch you at the same place. So if it comes from the mind, it will touch you in the mind. But that's it. Yeah. Please. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
This bad disciple, I like that very much. I'm still a student of Papaji's first student, who made a big mess and kept on going. And I went to see, there's actually 5 or 6 of Papaji's students, and it's quite extraordinary. I would just go in the room with them not even talking, and I would feel this incredible love. So I really believe, and I think there is a lineage. I think Ramana Maharshi does pass this gift of teaching down. I was here in April, and there's an Englishman he's very powerful, but he's
he says it's all a dream, and then you ask him what to do,
Yeah.
and of course you have to figure that out yourself, but it would be nice that people give you some guidance.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, when you were young and I was young, there's a big difference between that. Your generation is different than mine.
Yeah.
I think I went by my feelings. I ended up in India at 28, I'm from here, complete drug addict. I got completely enlightened. It was the most amazing thing.
Yeah. No doubt, and then every case will be different, isn't it? Yeah. What do you want to mean?
That I think, what is the enlightenment as a value? That I think, like you,
Yeah.
like a lot of you, they
Yeah.
teach others. I think it's a very noble thing.
Yeah.
It's not good to sit at home being like, you know, there's a Dutch guy here. We ask him what you do. He says, I play guitar and drink beer. And when you enter the room, he's like, it's very powerful. You can experience this. So I think within God, within the universe, this tradition of giving it from one to the other, from one generation to the other. And yes, I wish I was that powerful that I could speak or to inspire the youth. You know, I'm in my 40s, so I'm not 20, but I understand kids that are 19 that are very angry with our generation. I really sort of get that, because they still have to go 50 years and I only have to go maybe 25, 40, I mean, you know, I don't, well, isn't it true that the world is in a bigger mess now than it was 40 years ago? You speak about that as an objective fact.
I think it has always been.
It's like every day.
You know, it's funny because if long ago, for you, long ago, I said the difficulty was to find a master, a guide. Because maybe the world was such, but it was not also very nice, that it didn't need many places where this is possible to happen. No, maybe there is an explosion because it's true, people start to question more because it's too much and they will accept less, you know, and all that. But it doesn't mean, of course, there is a kind of more awareness of things and all that, but it doesn't mean it is the realization of the self. There is a kind of, in those layers of consciousness, probably we enter in another layer, we visit another layer more than before. Okay? But it has nothing to do with the realization of the self. I cannot say more than that. I'm sorry. So, something about a personal search. Yeah.
I have a question about pain.
About
Pain. Illness,
pain.
pain. Like,
Pain.
injury. Yeah. For
Pain.
yes, for myself I have no pain.
No?
Like not one.
Pain. Ah, pain. Okay, pain. Yeah, pain. Where? The pain is where?
I have injury in my shoulder, and it has been bothering me for quite a while, like a half a year. But the thing I want to ask you is like, sometimes it's something I try to, I don't want to feel it anymore, so I sort of reject it. I try to escape it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm creating it myself. So is it there, or is it me making it there? And sometimes I try to just accept it.
Yeah.
But there's all the time this sort of shifting of my sort of relation to it, where I don't really know.
What's the best way with pain?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
You know, pain, it's because of pain that one searches also, isn't it? To solve what to do. But anyway, in the relative world, I saw for myself that pain, if you accept, if you don't fight, it's always better. If you accept it. Well, that's a little trick to have less pain. Okay. But no, okay, these are tricks to live a bit better, which is important, I don't say so. But the main question is, who has pain? Because you see, pain will be unavoidable. Even the great masters, they died with pain. Unless it was abrupt, but it's no fun. I mean, there is a moment where there is some pain in this body generally. Okay. But to know you are not the body will not remove the pain necessarily at all. But it will not be the only thing existing. I don't know how to explain that, but
You think it is there for a reason?
you can take it as a teaching, but it will be always in the psychological realm, isn't it? Yeah. So you have to see, do I want, unless it is obsessive and really something has to be done after it, so I would go like, you are for natural medicine, but if there is something, it's enough, and all you take some antibiotics, okay. But it is punctual, isn't it? It's not a long affair, it's a punctual affair. So, I mean the same, you can solve something, okay, I've that because of my past, it's always due to past. Always due to past. It can make you also search, but who has pain? I always speak of my body. I'm obsessed by my body. How to be freed also from that. Not from the pain, it will remain probably, but not as you think. But am I a body? Who am I? No. Yeah. Could you take?
You said before in this teaching, who is the owner of the mind?
Who is the owner of the mind? Yeah.
And that touched me.
Yeah.
Because the question, who am I?
It's
I
too
don't-
abstract. It's too abstract?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's too abstract.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
And I know when I have a memory of when I was very small, and suddenly I was there, you know? I was there, and I was, oh my God. And that I call, and that for me, I understand that's the mind. Eh? What suddenly you're there. Or,
Mm-hmm.
And now I was thinking, who's the owner of the mind? Is that my question?
Very good. It's the question.
That's my question.
It's very good.
Thank you. Then I know what I have.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I will tell you also, any answer you get will be the mind.
Okay.
So, yes,
Yes, I cannot.
or tell me something else.
Yeah.
So,
Who's
don't
the
stop
owner?
anywhere.
Okay. Then I know that it touches me. That was everything.
Very
It
nice.
touched me.
I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all. Yes. Hi.
Here. I'm a little bit confused, or very confused about this topic.
Yeah.
Also because I'm thinking so much last time, I just lose my way of what's real or what's me, or sometimes I have like this kind of clear moments that I just feel I don't need this because it's not feeding me anymore. Or
Yeah.
I have a feeling about somebody or sitting somewhere and I just feel something. But sometimes, okay, I don't know what I'm asking. Sometimes because you want to understand something in the, like here, what I'm feeling now, but because you have so many ideas of it, you just create other things.
Yeah.
So then I'm so confused about what's the reality, or there is no reality, but what is my way to go? Because how do I?
But what's your ideal? What do you want to achieve in this life? You don't need to tell me just now, but it's a question. You see, before going to any conference or place where somebody speaks and all, you go there to know what you want. It can be because you don't know, and still there is something you want, something. So it's good to know what you want in the end, because then you will not shop here and there, and then you get confused because everybody says something else. Or at least you understand this way. So what do I want? It's a very important question. What do I want as a priority to realize in my life? What is the priority? There are many things one wants, but what is the priority? I would sacrifice other things, but this one not. This I want to realize. What is it? So ask this question to yourself, and maybe that will bring you where it is indicated in the same way as you want. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. For me, it just feels like it's a little bit too much sometimes to think or talk about it so much.
Yeah, but
Okay,
but that is the environment like that or the circumstance. But what do you want? You want to be a free woman, you want to be an artist, you want to have the best boyfriend, what do you want? This is very important to know. Or I want to realize to be an example for the world. There are so many ideals can cross one. Which one do you like the best? It can take some time, but it's worth, because after then it's easy. If you are clear with that, go for it. And then I tell you, will be helped to go for it.
Yeah, I know it's that I want to figure out for myself what's true for me and what's like. When I'm standing in my truth and I just can speak from that or just act from that, then.
What does it mean to speak from one's truth? You mean sincerely? I am sincere and I speak? From my truth, it's very relative, huh?
Yeah.
But I can be sincere with my personality. You mean that?
Can you say it again?
You know, this word truth is quite delicate to express. So the truth, if it is expressed by someone, has so many colors because it's relative. Some die for their truth and some other die for another real truth. So, no, it's relative. So it's better to say, I want to be sincere with what I think of myself, with my personality. And then in that way, it's kind of base. You mean that? Well, and then what do you want from there? Good, but what do you want from there? You don't, it's a homework, huh? You're not obliged to do it just now, but I suggest. Because you see, it removes many trials which in the end were not needed. If you know what you want, I repeat myself, things will happen that will help you in that direction. If you don't know what you want, it's more difficult. Because then you don't know, you like a little bit of this and then a little bit of that, and in the end, where are you, you know? Well.
What if you know what you want, but it doesn't happen?
Again, please.
What if you know what you want, but
Yeah.
it doesn't happen?
It's because you boycott with something. You boycott it. Boycott, you say? Mm-hmm. You boycott it with something in you. It doesn't come from outside, it comes from you. Doesn't happen. Some pride to keep something, some belief, some, I don't know, you have to see. First of all, what do you want?
To conceive.
To?
Get a kid.
A baby.
A baby. You can get babies differently. Everybody doesn't need to follow the path of everybody. But for that, you have to drop a few things. Or you take that drama in you as a teaching. Okay, it's not possible the way I want, so let me find another ideal. Maybe an ideal which doesn't belong so much to the world. Maybe I want to know the meaning of life then. If I cannot get a baby, what is the meaning of life? And satsang is busy with that topic. Finito? Did you go to sleep again? How strange. So we meet tomorrow. But tomorrow, there is a difficulty, yeah, with you.
Tomorrow there's a marathon in Amsterdam. And
at what time?
9:30 it starts.
Huh?
The city will 9:30. The city will be difficult to enter, but there is a map in front of the hall which shows the route to this venue. So have a look how to reach tomorrow the Ignatius Gymnasium.
Okay, or just jog also. Thank you. So, have a beautiful evening.